Ever since the day you were brought up on this world, you become a slave to something. You have become a slave to something. The moment your mother pushed you out of the womb, you immediately became a slave to something or someone. And now I know some of you might say this, oh bro, this is ridiculous. How dare you call me, bro? We live in a free world. You know, we live in a free world. How can we be slaves? Oh, believe me when I say this, is that these words you're always saying, are pure delusion. You are purely delusional. You are a delusional person if you don't think that you are a slave to something or someone. Because you see, we humans biologically are designed to be a slave species. I know this word sounds very tough and very hard to hear and understand. That's the reality. That is the truth. Humans have been biologically hardwired to be a slave species. Now I know you're gonna be asking, how can I be a slave? How can I be a slave if I live in a free world? Being a slave does not mean you belong to a person. The pure definition of a slave means being dependent on somebody. Being dependent on somebody or some things, which means that it's not only the people you are a slave to. You can be a slave to a lot of things, brother. You can be a slave to money, to your phone. You can be a slave to all of these worldly desires, a slave to the world and these big companies. You can be a slave to a 9-to-5 job. And worst of all, oh my goodness gosh, the worst of all is being a slave to lust. This is the worst ever one. This is the worst type of slavery you would ever have. That is being a slave to lust. The reason why I'm saying is that humans are specifically slave species is because we are generically our lives are hardwired to this type of lifestyle. We are designed to serve someone. We're designed to serve someone until we finally reach something in our lives. Like, for example, I am a slave myself. The only right I have as a slave species is to choose who am I going to be a slave to. Am I going to be a slave to the world or a slave to God? Because guess what? You can only be a servant to one of these. You cannot be an in-between. It's just as ridiculous as being allies with the Soviet Union and being allies with the United States. It's ridiculous. It's impossible because it's just as exactly as being allies with the Soviet Union and America. It's impossible. They're both enemies. The world and the Lord are enemies to each other. And because you see, by the word slave, I don't mean that you become a worthless, meaningless person who always just serves and bows down. No, I don't mean by that. By a slave is that I mean you were specifically designed and hardwired to work hard for your goals. You can be a slave to a good master or a bad one. You can be a slave to the world, which gives you all of these temporary pleasures, which forces you to chase after money, chase after addictions, chase after hedonistic pleasures. Listen to what the media is telling you. Be submissive to the world. Listen to all what the president says. Do not take risks. Keep spending money on gambling or whatever. Or being a slave to God. And do all His willing. Do all of the things He is willing you to do. Which is to be loving, to be caring, to appreciate hard work, to be thankful for everything, help others, to do all of these good things while you're still alive. Because I'm telling you again, I'm repeating this to you one more time. The only right you have as a slave species is who are you gonna be a slave to. Also known as a world that hates you, and does not even care about you. Does not even care about you. And now I know you might be asking, like, what? How can the world not care about me? People love me. Bro, there are people stripping their clothes off and doing these ridiculous TikTok challenges. And they're getting more appreciation and love than a soldier who sacrificed his life for his family, kids, and his country. Some kind of a weak estrogenic femboy is getting more appreciation than a masculine soldier who died on the front line, whose legs got absolutely just got eradicated by an artillery shell. And you say that the world cares about you. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. You can die on the side. Like, bro, there was a social experiment conducted in the United States where there was a set of actors were placed in the most busiest streets in New York City. Busiest streets of New York City, where there's thousands of people going across every day, and they pretended that they were extremely ill. They were dying on the streets. And now I want you to guess how many people came up to them to help them. If you guess none, that's correct. None of them. Nobody came to help them. And yet you say the world cares about you. Well, there is absolutely nobody coming to save you, even if you're dying on the streets in the most public space. Nobody will come to save you, and yet you still say the world cares about me. The world could care less. The world could care less if you either die the next day. Because for the world's perspective, the world always sees it as, oh yeah, we just lost one person. Oh well, that's just only one in between 8 billion people. The only being in this universe who genuinely cares about you, no matter what kind of messed up things you did in your life, is God. He's the only one who's willing to lift you up, give you a future, and help you out. And that's why he sent me to make a YouTube channel, so I can tell you all of this truth, which the internet is hiding away from you. And yet you say the world loves you while it's hiding the truth from you, so you can be a weak and a submissive, fat, lazy pig. Because here's the thing, bro. I already mentioned this in the past video. And that is the fact that channels like this are getting hunted down every day. They are being hunted down and butchered every single day. That's why you don't see these self-improvement content creators who don't submit to the algorithm. Go like, oh yeah, YouTube, I will talk about hormone blockers that are a good thing. Just do not demonetize me. The reason why I see a lot of these self-improvement content creators succeed is because they're submissive. They're submissive to the world. They are submissive to it. Channels who do not submit, they will obviously get hunted down. They will obviously get terminated, shadow banned for the most ridiculous reasons. Ridiculous reasons. 90% chance that when my channel starts blowing up, YouTube will start terminating my videos. For example, this one, because I used the word slave. Oh boy, how bad. What a disaster. I used a word which is used in every single history book. So I hope you have learned something from this video. That is the fact that if you want to succeed, you have to be a slave to the right things and the right people. If you want to succeed and live a fulfilling and happy life, I suggest that you become a slave to God. I know it sounds brutal. But trust me, your life will immeasurably improve when you start following Him. When you start following Christ, your life will improve. There are countless people in this world who have felt empty. And the world's desires cannot fulfill their emptiness. And when they surrender to Christ, they immediately, just like this, their emptiness was gone. So do not submit to this world. Do not care what these people tell to you. Keep striving for your purpose and keep striving for the things you want to accomplish in your life. Because remember, brother, eternal reward is waiting for you. It's waiting for us. Eternal reward is waiting for us. And all you have to do is be submissive and be a true servant of Christ. Besides the point, if you have any questions regarding this video or self-improvement or Christianity, feel free to comment down below and I will reply to you. And if it's regarding any problems or addictions you have, I will give you a step-by-step way how you can get rid of these permanently. I will give you a blueprint how to get rid of these things. And also, besides the point, if you liked, you could also like and subscribe to support this ministry. And I hope I will see you all tomorrow. Jesus loves you.